Hello and welcome to your daily oracle reading for Saturday, April 18th, 2020. I'm Linda the Lightworker. How are you doing? I am a spiritual counselor, energy reader, oracle reader. I use all the elements around me to help tap into that inner wisdom and to that my spirit guides and to bring you a message to help us stay on our healthy lifestyle path, living one day at a time, doing our best as we're continuing to grow through uncertain times. So this is a general reading. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. All my information's down below in the descriptions box. I'd love it if you subscribed. You can check out my website, LindaTheLightWorker.com, and let's jump into our cards. All right, here we go. Wow. Okay. All right. The first card, I'm using the Wild Spirit Tarot deck, and I'm pretty sure this deck is out of print. I'll show you what it looks like. This is the World Spirit Tarot, rather, not the Wild Spirit, which is something I keep saying. It's a print. It was made years ago, and I'm pretty sure it's out of print. But it really seems to be helping us right now, or helping me through these days. So our first card is the beautiful, the Moon card. So, the Moon, as we can see, there are these two pillars. What's so interesting is I've been looking at these pictures of Canyon de Chelly, which is in Arizona. That's been coming up on my feed, and I've had some interesting experiences out there back when I was driving around in the Malibu Stacy Funtime camper, which is my Volkswagen pop-top bus that I lived in for a year and a half, studying with shaman throughout the Southwest. And when I was in Canyon de Chelly, I had very interesting experiences, and that just came up for me today, especially this photo of these two pillars that look very similar to this card. All right, we have a lot of going on here. We have this river that is just running through here. We have a wolf on one side, a dog at the other. Are you going to be a teacher or a follower, right? The wolves are the teachers. They lead the pack. They run with information. They are teachers. Dogs are loyal. Of course, there's always a leader in a dog pack, but most of the dogs are not the alpha dog. And so anyway, here's the invitation today. Lots of symbols in here. We have a lobster here. Now, some of you could be thinking about lobsters mate for life, right? So you might be thinking about relationships and where you want to go. But honestly, this is the invitation. The Moon rules the subconscious. I'll get there. Our subconscious is trained through repetitive thoughts or through repetition. That's how we get subconscious training. For instance, athletes do it all the time. As we know, the visualization tests and studies that were done when athletes visualize themselves and repeatedly throwing the free throws, they would get, once they held the ball and got to the basket, they could do it. It was through that visualization, that repetition in the brain of learning that skill or honing that skill. So during the nighttime, during the dark hours are the mysterious. The woman is always identified with the moon. The woman has the moon cycle. It is cyclical. It is a 28-day cycle. So this moon, this guardian of our subconscious, is the invitation to tap into our intuition, into our higher self. I mean, really going deep within, listening for answers, and also noticing where your subconscious goes. What are your repetitive thoughts? Listen, we are still in an isolation situation here in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm pretty sure it's the same wherever you are. We would hear about it because that's going to be big news when people start flooding the streets again. So as we're inside, this dark energy, and listen, I've got it in all of our cards today. We've got, this is another one with dark waters and another dark in the night. So this is a very strong message about going within, learning to embrace that mysterious creativity. So now is a great time to dive into that unknown, to go into those uncharted waters. And it might be some dark feelings or fears might be living down there. Or this is something that's really great, is painting it out, like getting this emotional stuff out, get it on paint or write it out, sit and do some writing. Like allow yourself to explore new creative arts that you never thought you could try. Maybe it's sculpture. Maybe it really is about channeling that energy in a new way and seeing where it leads you. You know, who knows where this lobster's headed? Maybe he just flew, ended up in the desert. How do you get a lobster in the desert? I don't know how, but you will. You'll find a way to find your lobster. You'll find a way to find that creative energy, to follow it, to trust it, to allow it to come up. Don't be afraid of all these feelings that are percolating. This is about really tapping into that unknown place within you. I know I'm really hearing that there's a lot of fear. We've got a lot of fear going on. Our second card today is the Sibyl of Cups. Now, again, she is the cup sign. The cups suit typically represents all of our water signs, which of course are Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And she looks very Piscean to me, with the mermaid tail, bare-chested, in this beautiful little reclining mode on her. It looks like there might even be rain happening while she's sitting here. Look at this porpoise or dolphin. We have little octopus and sea creatures who are all just blessing her, and she is just loving them all. And she is all about this unconditional love. So if you are able to really just love yourself with all these feelings that are percolating. Now, loving ourselves and going into that deep personal love is not about singing the woe is me pity song. Listen, that's an easy road to go down. Having compassion for where you are and what your experience is important. And when we're able to have that deep compassion for ourselves without going to a self-pity mode, and then we're able to have more empathy for others who are going through their struggles, which will certainly be more than what you're handling right now. Everyone, there's always someone who is experiencing something worse than you are. And so being able to cultivate that unconditional love for the anger that might be sparked during this time, maybe you need to move that energy out, or you need to, I'm hearing paint it out. This creative goddess that I'm seeing, she is so creative. This water is the great mysterious. That's why the divine feminine is depicted in such a mysterious way, because something really happens when we're out at night under the moonlight. Sometimes we're able to even see more or see things differently. So this is about embracing this shadow that's coming up, these dark emotions, this mysterious time that we're going through. And loving it unconditionally, really just being embraced in that love emotion. And then our final tarot card today is the Six of Swords. Now, we've had this recently. This has been in the regular rotation. I know that for sure. Now, she is escaping in the middle of the night. Look at this, under the full moon. Some people, her community is helping her pack up her stuff and go. She doesn't even know where she's going. It's a rudderless ship, but the boat knows where they're going. This is about you bringing Okay, all right. Okay, so I often mention that this card is about you. You might really have to make a quick change. You might need to make some big changes. You know, suddenly the grand piano isn't important. Suddenly what used to be important to you doesn't matter at all anymore. You really are just grabbing the jewels and packing up and moving out, moving on. But this is also an invitation to, especially if you're going on a consciousness journey, which I truly hope you are, of going deeper within so that we can heal these old wounds so we're able to create a new paradise for ourselves. It is blending that imagination that you have that really wants to come out with action. So all of this dark, mysterious energy wants action to come with it. And you know, sometimes to get action, you might have to stir the pot. But I'm suggesting that today you stir your own pot. You really have the courage to go deep within whatever's coming up for you. Allowing yourself that time and space to really trust your process, trust your creative process, trust in the unknown outcome. Because when we're diving deep, especially with that emotional stuff, maybe whatever your ex is doing is triggering, or maybe you're just ready to move on from the whole thing. Whatever your situation is, it is trusting your process and allowing it to come out however it comes out. How are you decompressing from the week? It's the weekend. Some people might be saying, why do we even need weekends anymore? But there is our news cycle even changes. All the information we're being fed Monday through Friday shifts on Saturdays and Sundays. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit less of that activity. So being able to, while this clears, there's still mystery. Go deep. Go deep. All right, our final card today is from the Denise Linn Sacred Travelers deck, which you know I love. And it's the Distant Thunder. Now, lots of things can happen with the Distant Thunder. The message here is to clear the air. Listen, sometimes we have been in close quarters, people. We have been in tight quarters. If you're cohabitating with anyone else right now, this Distant Thunder card keeps coming up. It's about communication. Being able to communicate without, listen, don't listen. I'm hearing the thunder. We don't know which way the wind is blowing, and we don't know if this storm is going to come through, or perhaps it's just going to wash all the pollen away, or perhaps it's just going to, you know how the air smells after a beautiful rain and how refreshed the world seems after that happens. So if there are some emotions that come up that need to be talked about or related to this action, you've got to take some action. It might create a small storm. Don't worry about it. These storms are important. It's a part of nature. Imagine what our planet would look like if we never had a thunderstorm, or we never had, back in the before times, as I'm calling it, I'm thinking of all the pollution, especially when I lived in Seattle, and the air would just get trapped by the mountains, and they'd be so mucky muck. It was really horrible. And then a rain would come through and the air would get so clean and fresh, and the trees, the leaves get so shiny, and now we have all these springtime leaves budding, and all of the little plants need that refreshing rain to come forward. April showers bring the May flowers. So don't be afraid of the thunderstorms. My mother loved thunderstorms. It was one of her most favorite times, and she had a magical big picture window, very, very, very large. It was something like 20 feet long. It was really huge. And we would just sit there and watch the rain come in from the distant thunder, watching it come in, and the ducks would come and just stand under the trees in the rain. They would just love the rain. So remember that if that rain means for you a real big cry, and the thunder being the heaving, like getting that out, that's moving emotion, and it needs to be moved. Don't be afraid of those tears. I know some people are having a lot of grief during this time and feel uncomfortable with this uncertainty. Just embrace it. Things are going to shift. You know, our future is uncertain, but it was always uncertain. We can do our best to plan and make our lives happen, but there are so many things that are out of our control. And right now, we are in uncertain times. So fear is what can really get activated with uncertainty. So the more we're able to manage our fear and to come into that place of our ownness, of really just feeling, honoring that fear, then everything else will work itself out. Remember, fear, false evidence appearing real. There really is nothing to it but our mind. So if we're able to reprogram our minds, that's the magic of looking in the moon, in the subconscious, and paying attention to where those old fears were. Where did you learn it? Interesting messages there. And then just allow that energy to move. Allow it to shift and transform. Turning off the mind is the hard part, and the rest is easy. All right, my dear, that's our reading for today. I am just so thrilled that you stopped by my little channel. If you're one of my new subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. And you know, I was looking at my YouTube matrix, my analytics, whatever. And it says I'm up to 47% of my viewers don't subscribe. So if you've made it here to the end, please just make that little commitment, hit that subscription button. And the more subscribers I get, the more this channel can grow. And the only reason why I want the channel to grow is that I want us all to remember that the most important thing we can do today is to take really good care of ourselves. Eat the best food you possibly, not calorie rich, but the most nutritious food that you can find. Drink as much water as possible. Just drink that water and get a lot of rest. And remember that the more we slow it down and turn our thoughts into our friends, make sure we have a nice inside voice. I call it up here. Nice inside voice, the better we're going to feel. Okay, I love you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.